Right. Thank you so much, Lawrence. I know we've been talking about our FormulaShare discussion for a long time. So let's kick off the session today. So welcome to our, you know what? Let's call it. This is our first App Exchange session, and that is
Oh,
with
I'm
you.
honored.
And people who don't know, my name is Cam, and I'm with Lawrence today, and he's gonna show us what Formula Share is and what Lawrence is. What is he doing? I'm going to start this session with him today. All right, Lawrence. So start with you. Can you tell me a bit about yourself and your journey in the Salesforce ecosystem?
Hey, thanks so much, Cam. Yeah, thanks a lot for having me. And yeah, I'm honored to be your inaugural App Exchange guest. So I hope I can do some justice.
Oh, definitely.
Um, so yeah, I'm Lawrence Newcombe. I've been doing Salesforcey stuff for I guess about 13 years, something like that.
Nice.
So I yeah, sort of sat on across a few different angles in the Salesforce world. So I came in initially through business analysis. I've
Mhm.
been working for broadcast technology business analysis for a number of years, and sort of found myself with Salesforce. Working with an NGO. They kind of were like, well, we quite like the look of this Salesforce thing. What do you think? I'd never heard of it, so had to learn it very quickly.
Nice.
We so
Good.
we worked together. We put in a what became quite a
No, it's
substantial
it's
org.
it's a it's an honor for us as well because as a Punjabi force making this, we are all Salesforce ecosystem as well. So this is a very good moment for us sharing the knowledge, caring people, and telling people what Formula Share is to help the other admins, business analysts. Again, this is all about analysts, oh sorry, these Salesforce admins, business analysts, consultants, they want to use the App Exchange product, and this is the product we're going to talk about today.
Great.
Now,
Yeah.
what's inspired you to build Formula Share and how long it has been in the market?
I think in terms of the inspiration, probably the simple version is seeing the same problem in multiple places. So solving a problem one place, getting
Yeah.
into a new organization, seeing pretty much the same thing again, and thinking,
Mhm.
well, actually, there's a real opportunity here to be doing this in a reusable, scalable way. So yeah, that's what sort of led to the original version of Formula Share. It was open source, the first version.
Mhm.
We still have a large component of the app is open source. So there's an open source repository for Formula Share you can go and check out today. That's in the app. That's part of the app.
Okay.
Uh, so we have an open close model. You can use the open source version. You can use the app version. We have a free app tier, and then we have paid tiers for larger customers as well.
So that's good. So I know we have lot of technical, non-technical, and layman's. We have, let's talk about super moms. There are many moms back to work. If you can keep a one line, I really want this is for the audience who are joining Salesforce.
Mm,
When we say open source,
mm.
how do we tackle that part? If I want to keep a very simple example for Formula Share.
Yeah, great question. So open source basically means it's transparent, it's out there in the open, and it's free to use.
Yeah.
So in the case of Formula Share, we publish all of the open source part of Formula Share is available to anyone to go and get in GitHub without you don't need to log in. You can go and download the source code for Formula Share. You can implement it directly as is. You
Mhm.
can change it if you want and implement that. Um, yeah, so it's there. It's free to use. It's also from our perspective, what's great about it is we can show it directly to customers. So our customers can see what we can see effectively in the design of the app. So that's been really helpful to help build confidence that what we're doing is designed appropriately, and to help them to figure out some of the more sort of tricky kind of tricky
Oh,
questions they have.
so what kind of problem does it solve for in one sentence if I want to ask a question, sir?
So Formula Share is all about making sharing easier. So Salesforce sharing mechanisms kind of get you so far, and then you're sort of on your own. And there are bespoke ways of designing fancy things using customization. What we're trying to do is take the use cases that would be need that sort of much more, that more advanced,
Mm-hmm.
potentially less stable solutions, and make an app that allows you to configure that quickly and easily. So that's sort of our that's what
Yeah,
we
I
do.
heard that. Yeah, like Salesforce sharing rules are quite rigid in that sense, basically. So in that case, what are the key limitation that Formula Share addresses? I'm not saying, because I know we have a detailed plannings later on. If I want to tackle very high level, which anyone can, like let's say admins and business analysts can quickly understand this, what will be
Yeah.
the first limitation if I say?
Yeah, there's a lot, but there are probably two or three that we hear all the time.
Hmm.
The first one, probably the biggest one, is that sharing can't really be defined by data in related objects. So if you've got something like a country or a team represented in your org, and that's associated with records in some way, and you want to
Hmm.
share to groups or users or so on in those countries, in those teams, um, in those business units, whatever they are, there isn't really an out of the box way to do that. So that's one of the things that we provide, is the
Right.
ability to specify related objects as sharing controls. Um, then there's kind of the more sort of day-to-day stuff around sort of literal limits in
Hmm.
Salesforce. So limitation of 50 criteria-based sharing rules is something that has come up and burned quite a lot of our current
Yeah,
customers, that they
definitely. Yeah.
do something, they're kind of building up a bank of sharing rules. They're adding, potentially more offices or so on, and sharing records with groups, and it works great up until you get to that limit. And then suddenly you're in a world where Salesforce isn't going to let you create any more sharing rules. So yeah, that's sort of, literally getting to that limit. We can our rules are dynamic, so we don't have that same limitation. And also just the burden and the overhead of managing that number of things. So
Hmm.
oftentimes customers will come to us with 50, 100, maybe even 300 ownership-based sharing rules. They'll say, "How do we do this in FormulaShare?" We could say, "Well, actually, you can boil this down to 3 or 4 dynamic FormulaShare rules. You can get rid
Hmm.
of all of that config."
So which means, so because this is what I was about to ask a question related to complexity. So I think you may have answered it, but you can expand the answer. So how does it handle the cross-object sharing? For example, we have sharing and child record based on a field on the parent account kind of situations.
Great question. Yes, we do. We try to be as flexible as possible, so we allow admins to configure what is the relationship from the shared object to the object that needs to drive the sharing. So and that configuration is based through a series of lookup relationships. They can go
Mm-hmm.
up, down, through the data model, so you can potentially link together kind of via a number of objects. So for example, you might want to do something like sharing, maybe you want to share product records
Yeah.
with the users that are associated to accounts via opportunities for those accounts, and via the child opportunity products that exist that relate those two things together. So those sorts of use cases where there's potentially quite a kind of involved relationship
Mm.
between the shared object and the people who need access. So yeah, that sort of thing we have an interface that allows you to just map in the what that relationship is in your org.
Yeah, I'm sure by now people must be asking how does it work at a real example. But obviously it's a heads up. We will be doing it. So this is pretty much our introduction on each things, how Formula Share handling things basically. But obviously in that use case we'll cover. Obviously that will be a little longer as well for us to make that level of video. We will cover it. Um, Quick question again, another one. which object does it support? Is it truly any object or including custom object, etc. kind of, or is it, what kind of support model is it?
It's any object which is shareable using normal Salesforce sharing mechanisms. So, and specifically that means so things like so all the standard objects that you can share. So things like accounts, opportunities, orders, campaigns, and so on. Any custom object which has a sharing model, so long as it's not a master detail to something else which dictates its sharing, as long as it has its own independent sharing model, you can use FormulaShare with it. Some of the main exceptions are some of the standard objects that have sort of oddities associated to their access model. So contracts, for example, which always follow the sharing of accounts. That's just kind of how Salesforce does it. So we unfortunately can't really help with that one. Tasks, similar sort of thing. The sharing of tasks follows a different sort of paradigm technically, but they're quite rare, those scenarios. Most standard objects are shareable with FormulaShare.
Because you know what, the thing is, I'm surprised with it because you are talking about all the sharing rules, sharing capacity, all about the visibility and non-visibility kind of criterias. But when you say formula shares, the first click in my mind, is there something to, they made it visible, like, the making simplifies the validation, simplifies the formulas, simplicity, but it's more beyond, all the reach basically, because especially we are in the GDPR world, this is actually a key thing, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting to pick up on that actually, because the reason it's called FormulaShare is the first use case that we really supported is you can share based on formula values on objects, which I mean it's such a simple thing, and you look on the idea exchange, there's ideas been hanging around for about, well, I think longer than I've been working with Salesforce. But it's not possible. It's such a game changer, just having that one feature, being able to use a FormulaShare in a equivalent of a criteria-based sharing rule. But like you say, that's our aim really, is to make this stuff kind of simple and auditable and kind of clearly configured in the org, rather than letting all this stuff get buried in flows and Apex and customization.
Right. Okay. Nice one. And how about the market? If I say, is it for, I know we did the touch base on it, like what kind of customers you deal with it? Is it for any commercial customers or non-commercial retail market, or what kind of industry do you have? I would say monopoly, or maybe monopoly is not the right word. Maybe the industry captured, let's say.
Yeah. So we see, in terms of who we see, I mean, we have users in all sorts of industries. What we do seem to see quite a bit is healthcare organisations. So sort of organisation managing patient data, but also sort of managing communications with individuals involved in the healthcare provision process. So we do have a few healthcare customers, legal customers, sort of law.
I'm sure. I'm sure they love it.
Yeah, you can imagine they're a little hot on who sees what.
Yeah.
What else do we have? We have
is there recruitment?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. We have had a recruitment implementation
public sector. I'm just saying the name. Sorry.
It's actually non-profit sector. So it was recruitment of both staff and volunteers. So it was and we have quite a few non-profit customers actually who are. We like to. We just love. I mean, I've worked with non-profits for a long time outside of my work with FormulaShare, and it's just great to be connected in this way as well. So we have quite a big non-profit discount. I think that's part of the reason we do work with a lot of non-profits, and also I think non-profits just have really interesting sharing models a lot of the time, and it's great to be able to support that.
Good. Yeah, good to hear. So obviously, I'm going to a little bit on real world use cases thing. I know we have a next actions on the use cases, but this is trying to get some high level on it. Maybe you did the touch base already, the public sector, the recruitment and all, but what are the most common use cases you see the customers solving with the FormulaShare?
Yeah, so there's kind of there's a real range, but then there's a few themes that do come up quite frequently. So one of those is that you have oftentimes, well, either one or sometimes kind of parallel visibility hierarchies that you want to apply to records in the org. So one organization that we work with, they had a large number of large number of sort of local partners that deliver a program. So there were some network of partners, and those partners have relationships with one another. So there needs to be some sort of cross visibility between those partners. The partners' own records need to be shared with them, but then they need to be shared based on the relationships they have with other partners as well. So that sort of thing we see quite a bit, where there's that kind of, well, we need to share all of the
so B2B kind of, so
exactly,
exactly,
B2B.
I can think of something giving access to, it's B2B model pretty much. Makes sense.
And that model we see both with internal users and with partner and community users as well. So we have clients doing both actually, and partner and community users, there's sort of a built-in sharing sets way of doing something similar, which works well if you've got a straightforward hierarchy. But FormulaShare just allows you to a lot more flexibility in terms of how you control that access. So those are kind of, that's quite a key one. I sort of touched on it a moment ago, but that where you've got sort of relationships between organizations and that's potentially quite a dynamic thing, and maybe those relationships apply to some groups of records but not others, and things like that, where you've got these sort of quite messy sort of business rules that need to dictate visibility. Those between different groups of users in the org. That's quite a key one. And then the other. Sorry, Kam.
No, I was asking this on top of this. Is like, did you ever get anything surprised you that you're doing basically, this is something I can't do it. Did you get those surprises basically?
All the time. Well, it's kind of why FormulaShare is what it is today, I'd say. I mean, we've been live on the AppExchange, I think about 7 years, something like that. And the product's evolved so much in that time, and it has largely been driven by finding out about these sort of interesting sharing requirements that, I mean, I just hadn't just never really thought of, and it's not until you speak to a customer who's really feeling this pain that it's like, actually, well, maybe if we did this or we did that, it might help. So we've actually just launched our spring release last week, and in there there's we've introduced a new feature to allow you to, so if you're in your org, you're managing within custom objects some kind of concept of a team. So you might have a team object and a team member object, and that it's basically the records in the org that should sort of determine what those groups are, rather than having public groups behind the scenes or roles or whatever. So that, I mean, that was something. I mean, it sounds so we added support for that, for being able to map in data structures like that into FormulaShare and use them in rules. Which, I mean, now in retrospect, it's like, that seems like a really good idea, but I just never thought of it until I was talking to talking to someone I know well in the ecosystem sort of last year, and he's like, I see this all the time in US public sector. And it's like, never heard about that, but it sounds like a great idea. So we support
and you know
that
what?
now.
On now just came up one more question on top of it, because I'm going towards BAs, our consultants, they're watching today. But before that, the question is, So FormulaShare is dedicated to Salesforce only, or is it you can expand the reach to other CRMs? If yes, then then what are they?
Yeah, I'd love to say yes, but we are just Salesforce. So it's yeah,
That's good.
it's Salesforce. It's Salesforce Core specifically as well.
Good.
Yeah, we hear a
Nice.
bit of interest around data 360 access as well. So that's it's an interesting one to look at, but we're not there yet.
Right. And I'm sure then it's easy for any Salesforce BA or consultant or admin, if they want to work only on FormulaShare products, they can either they can use you become a FormulaShare expert, be a freelancer, or they can join FormulaShare team, or they can still be a product expert basically on this side, correct?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, we've tried to design with that, yeah, with that group in mind. Really, we want it to be easy to configure, and because there's so much flexibility, the challenge really is in the business requirements and figuring out how to use it. And we want it to be as easy to use as possible. And I think we've done quite well there. I mean, most of our clients have either implemented it themselves within their internal teams, or their partners have implemented it for them. So yeah, that's generally how we
Good.
work. We have a partnership model. So if partners are interested in partnering with us, that's something that we support as well, and we have sort of enablement, and yeah, we like to make it as easy as possible and as good as possible
Yeah.
for them to work with it.
Nice. Okay, that's good. Then that leads me to, can we little bit show and tell, like how where in App Exchange, like is it straightforward down? I'm not saying we need to download and install today, but just click and play kind of things. How does it look? Where to find FormulaShare, and we can have a
Yeah,
look. If you
yeah.
want to share your screen and
I'd
show
love
us,
to. Let's see how it
yeah.
goes. So I'll share my screen. Hopefully you're
Oh
seeing.
yeah.
So probably the easiest way you can see from my Google search.
Oh yes.
Well,
That's the best way I would say people to start. Everyone can understand basically.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we're here on the App Exchange.
At the top of the list.
The top list. Hopefully we stay there. So yeah, we've got a demo on the App Exchange. So yeah, do sort of yeah, kind of take a look.
Oh,
Done a very
that's
quick
good
spin through
actually.
the.
Demo will be very good for the people as well. So yeah,
Yeah, it's only 3 minutes, so yeah, you won't even have to
perfect.
finish your tea. Um, So yeah, we've got sort of info about kind of generally how it works, what it does. It's obviously quite high level here. Yeah, do check out our reviews as well.
Yeah.
We've got sort of customers
Would
using
it be
us.
possible if you can show this already, if you have installed on Salesforce, that you can show how does it look over there? Is there anything, or do you
Yeah, so
think that's oh yeah, you have already. Yeah.
yeah, so I've got an org here. So this is kind of the landing page of FormulaShare with a whole bunch of rules set up. So when you first install it, it'll look a bit cleaner than this.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you add rules, yeah, we sort of represent them in a list. Our sort of design paradigm is trying to make this sort of look and feel as much like setting up kind of native Salesforce sharing as possible. So the
Mm.
rules, yeah, you kind of you give it a name and a label in the same sort of way. You pick what object you want to share. You can say, well, I want to share it either from something on the account, or if we want to share through relationships, then we can mention around configuring relationship sort of sharing this way.
Very
So
much
we can
click and play kind of things basically. Yeah.
exactly, yeah. So it's the idea is to make it as simple as possible. So you sort of
Yeah.
choose the object that controls the sharing. You say sort of which field on that object has the entity who should get that access.
Mm.
There's
So is it
obviously got different
so in
options
that
there.
case, is there any free version available for, let's say admin wants to trial out first, basically? How does it work? Is it possible to do that, or is it you have to buy first and then you can play?
No, it's so we have Just jump to the website. So we have we have three versions. So if you go to the FormulaShare page today and just click Get It Now, you can install this into any org, including a production org, for free. You don't even have to tell us you're doing it. You just go and install it, try it out. If it's working for you, just install that into production. And what you get that way is the light version.
Okay.
Now we call it light, but to be honest, it's got feature-wise, it's got the vast majority of what is in FormulaShare, so you'll get a really good sense of everything that's there. The main limitations are the number of rules that you can have, and the number of records that you can share. So you can share up to 10,000 records, at any one time that way. So yeah, and we have quite a few orgs that use that free version, including some quite large clients. So yeah, for sort of quite limited use cases, that's plenty.
I think in the future in the future sessions, I would love to see the reporting side of this thing. Like once you configure everything and people wants to see, is it possible for you to show and tell the reporting side of stuff once we cover the use cases? Is it possible?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we have sort of full audit logging, so all of the sharing that's been applied or taken away by FormulaShare, all the jobs that have run and so on. It's all represented in reports. We've got dashboards summarizing kind of what the picture of sharing is in your org. So yeah, we can certainly run through that.
Brilliant. Love that. Yeah, that looks actually very good. Thank you. I'm excited now to explore more on this tech product, basically, and telling the architect and everyone, hey guys, come on, man, don't be shy. And does it like, do you think we can beat Apex sharing rules at some point with this, or is it something because maybe my question is not fully correct on that way. I'm looking more technical side of, like, if someone say, no, I want to do Apex, but if I have FormulaShare, what's the weightage if I'm comparing both stuff?
Yeah, so we have had, particularly more recently, actually, we've had a few clients that come to us with, they've already got a whole load of Apex sharing active in the org, and it's kind of working for them. But I think customers that are in that position, often it's sort of okay for a while, but then people leave, or new requirements come in, and suddenly it's a real nightmare to extend it or change it or whatever. So one of the things that we sort of really kind of value and want to stay true to is that the sharing is all dictated by your rules. So if you've got, you can have really some quite involved sharing logic in those rules, but it's just click and configure rules. So, and it's something that you can step an auditor through very easily. Just, you pull up the page and you run through and you tell them how the rules work. It's, you could trying to do the same thing with a complex Apex framework. Is you need an architect to write a document to do that.
Right. So one yes or no question then for you. That might be my last question, as in, like, our general conversation.
Let's do it.
So if the new admin just joined the company today and they already have FormulaShare, because that's the love for the developers, they just love their Apex. Now, to answer as a admin, and they have the FormulaShare already in the org, and is there any report help where they can run the report or dashboard or some kind of metadata report where they can see, oh, that's what has been configured already, I need to take it from there? Is it possible?
Yeah, it's all there in the rules list, really. Right. So the rules list, and then I didn't show it, but we could go into another session, but the configuration of jobs that are running that are applying those rules, but that's pretty much it.
Nice.
Yeah,
okay.
So we try and really make it all there, kind of in the front end of the app.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, so as I promised, so this was my last question. But no, it's good, basically good to know, because many people are asking, hey, I know Salesforce, I know this product, but I think they need to understand how big the AppExchange enterprise products are as well. and there are a lot of jobs available in this. If you are expert in one AppExchange product, you have a potential to work with many clients. If you want to as a freelancer or as a contractor working, there are opportunities. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Brilliant.
yeah, absolutely. There's so many creative solutions out there, and yeah, it's yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, knowing about
brilliant.
them and knowing the right tool for the job, it's an important part of being a good admin, really.
Exactly. No, brilliant. Yeah. So that's our end of the conversation. So now, is there anything you want to tell us about FormulaShare, which I missed or anything? But obviously we have another session. We can pretty much cover it, the use cases style for everyone. And I don't have any more questions.
No, I don't think so. No, just excited to chat again.
Yep. No,
No,
definitely. Yeah.
thanks so
No,
much.
brilliant. Thank you so much for your time and looking forward to speak to you again.
Likewise, thanks a lot, Cam. Looking forward to chatting again.